Everyone dreams of living an uncommon life, and the best asset you have to achieve your dreams is you. Welcome to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. We're going to introduce you to people who are living uncommonly. We're also going to give you some tools and strategies for building wealth and for pursuing an uncommon path that is uniquely right for you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Uncommon Wealth Podcast, where I'm your host, Phillip Ramsey. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I am super excited about this topic, and I hope you get excited about it as well. And then there's an application part of it. So it's kind of a simple step. It's kind of not. It's just kind of a whole general idea. But let me just kind of get you in the head of a financial advisor. So normally people really want to be around people when they're changing jobs or changing, maybe the wealth transfer is changing from one hand to the other hand, from one family to the other family. And so a lot of advisors will try to hone in on one, maybe retirement. Hey, when you change from your job here and you're moving over to retirement, that's our kind of focus. And they'll try to niche down their marketing. And that's really just a marketing thing. But they say that we're the best at helping workers transition to retirement. Okay. Well, they're doing that because they feel like there's a lot of money exchanging right then. There's a lot of times where they can get their hands on it to manage it. Another time when people are doing this is calling wealth transfer. So like when one family, like maybe the Patreons of the family, are transitioning and they want to try to do some planning in order to hand that down to the next generation, which makes sense. There's a lot of money on the table. Well, financial advisors will sit there and be like, hey, we'll help you with your estate planning. That's a lot of the times they're trying to get the keyword estate planning. And it's important. For the record, it's very important. I really struggle with those advisors that just hone down into one thing. Although that's the kind of advice I give when somebody's starting a business, is like niche down your marketing. That's a brilliant piece of information. I just really struggle with advisors going after one thing because they're just wanting high amounts of money to be able to come in to manage. So that's more of a personal problem, not yours. But so the reason why I think this is interesting is because when you think about wealth transfer, and a lot of people and a lot of advisors help people just think about one thing. And what do you think that thing is? When I say wealth transfer, what do you think of? It's money. That's right. Like they are talking about how they can transition their money down to the next generation and maybe avoid probate or avoid paying as many taxes and all that stuff, and very important stuff. But I think an uncommon way to do this is way different. Like stop focusing on the money. So I'm going to help you with an exercise that I've helped a couple of my clients, actually a lot of our clients that are thinking about transferring their wealth to the next generation. This is the exercise that I help them do. All right, so get a piece of paper out. You have 4 things that you need to write down, okay? And we're going to pretend like there's four things to your wealth, okay? We're going to say the first thing is your core values. What do you believe in? Like that's important, okay? So your first thing that you just wrote down is core values. The second thing you're going to write down is your good and bad experiences, okay? And if you think about yourself now, do you feel like the good things have made you who you are today, or the bad things? I'm telling you, for me, it's the bad things. Hey, just avoid these bad things and you should be fine. Okay. And I think that's part of my wealth. The experiences that I've lived, mainly, the good ones are awesome, but the bad ones are also memorable and it's helped shape me who I am. So those are the second thing, the good and bad experiences. All right, now we got 2 things on our list. We have our core values. We got the good and bad experiences. The third thing is how you serve others. So charitable giving could be one of those things. The other things is just your time. Like, what do you put your time and resources into in order to really fulfill you? That's number 3. So we have core values, good and bad experiences, and your charitable giving, or the way you serve other people. And the fourth thing is money. Okay. So we have those 4 things. If you could only transfer 3 of those to the next generation, what would those 3 things be? It's pretty telling. It would be your core values, your good and bad experiences, then your charitable, the way that you give your money, times, talents, and resources, right? Those 3 things. And if you do a good job at that, like, I think that the next generation can build their own wealth. So I think what we should be doing as an uncommon individual and thinking uncommonly is like, let's use our money to transfer those other three things to the next generation. And if we do this right, they can build their own wealth and we can watch them build it by giving them our core values and make sure that they can be empowered with their own core values. They might be a little bit different. Give them our bad experiences, our good experiences, help mentor them in that way. And the third thing is like, hey, this is what we really get passionate about. Like, we love to serve God's people in his church, or we love to go to the Animal Rescue League, those things, right? And let's really do the good job and use our money now in order to pour into our family to really have them unlock those three things, okay? Here's what happens when you do that. Your next generation probably won't need your money. Let's just start there. But guess what? You're going to have more money to give to the next generation. It's their money. You're going to have more of your money to give to the next generation, or maybe not. Maybe it's far less. But the money that they do get from you and your wealth transfer will be able to be poured in and more fuel on their fire to be able to then ignite that passion, to be able to then foster that care and move that down to the next generation. Pretty sweet, right? So our job as parents is to pour into our kids. I think my parents did a great job. Praise the Lord, by the way. Thank you. But the next generation gets to do that to the next generation. That's where wealth will really start to multiply. And it won't just be financial. But newsflash, it'll also probably be financial. Because if you do this right on the first three, they'll understand who they are. They won't ever sacrifice their core values. And your bad experiences, you're like, hey, don't do this. Because if you don't do this, you'll probably have more money at the end of it, right? So you can just take your bad advice or take your good advice and then your bad experiences and then learn from that. And then they'll be able to live in a mission that's bigger than them. Pretty awesome, in my opinion. Okay. So all that to being said, I just think this concept is so powerful when you can get around the right people and see what they come up with. Like, hey, I'm going to take my family on an annual trip, and then we're going to be super intentional with talking through some of these core values, right? I've had such an amazing opportunity to be able to walk through some of those families with that. Oh, you guys, it's like one of my favorite things. Talking through those things, having conversations that you just wouldn't have. Maybe having a facilitator there could be helpful. If you have no idea, call me because I got some ideas for you. But that's a really fun thing to do. But also other people have way better ideas than I have. Hey, we're going to do this, or we're going to do that, or hey, we're going to serve on New Year's Eve at the homeless shelter. And then afterwards, we're going to do this, this, and that, and make people understand the gift that we get just being together and just having a roof over our head. That is like, that's so powerful, in my opinion. So that's kind of where this thought process went. So now you know all of Philip's, like, I don't know, behind the curtain, if you will, behind the scenes for Philip. So then I started thinking about just every different things that we do. And this is me preaching to myself. So we're coming up, this will be probably aired a little after spring break, but we're coming up on spring break for us. This is shot before spring break in 2025. And sometimes I struggle with thinking about spending money on things that are just going to be like poof gone, right? And what a foolish thing, because I would totally say that you're investing in your family, you're doing all these things, but sometimes, like, you know, reality hits and you're at this like, all right, this is going to be expensive. And then I was like, what if I thought about every dollar that goes out of my pocket as an investment? That changes my whole paradigm for me, right? So now instead of going on vacation, we have to spend money. Going on vacation, and we get the opportunity to invest in my family and think through those things like core values, good and bad experiences, having those together maybe if we get in a car accident or whatever. Lord help us. I hope it doesn't. But having those moments where you can really grow as a family is an investment. And I would argue one of the best investments that I can give to my family. It's just spending time, going to do things. We're going down to Gulf Shores, Alabama. We're driving because my wife hates to fly. Quite honestly, it's super expensive to fly. So I couldn't justify the investment of flying. So thinking about just every dollar that goes out of your wallet or your debit card or your bank, and think about it as an investment. So if you're going to lunch with a friend, It's an investment, right? It's an investment that you're investing in the other person, or maybe they're pouring into you. Maybe you can pay for their lunch. But it's an investment. It's an investment. And I would say even like just grooming your dog, it's an investment, right? You care for that little creature. It's an investment. Now, if there's things that you're putting your money in and you can't somehow justify, like there's no investment here, my challenge to you would be like, is it worth paying for then? You can throw in like, well, utilities is an investment. Yeah, well, lights on my house it's an investment for me. Netflix could be an investment. Might not be a wise investment. So you might have to really check your core values to see if that's going to be something that we keep doing. But I feel like when you start looking at your dollars and going out and looking at it as an investment, there's a paradigm shift for me. And it helps me put it into an uncommon perspective that I think is valuable. All right, so that's that. The other thing is your time is an investment. And I would maybe argue that this is the most valuable investment that you can give is your time. Taking your dad or your daughter out on a walk. Maybe there is no money involved. Maybe there's no money investment. There's time investment. Super valuable. Pouring into your wife, pouring into your significant other, pouring into your dog. But there's time spent and it's valuable. And so everything that we do, I think I'm going to start trying to challenge myself to start think of things as a investment. And then I'm going to start really analyzing, are the things that I'm investing in matching up to my core values? Which then brings me back to, am I doing a good job today pouring into my children to give them my most valuable asset? It's not the money. It's my core values. It's my good and my really bad experiences. It's things I wish I wouldn't have done. And then it's the things that we just pour into, like our church. We just had 20 kids over yesterday and we played flag football in the backyard. My wife and I fed them. Mainly my wife cooked for them. I picked up, did some dishes afterwards, got to play flag football with some kids. And my kids, I just got to watch and observe my kids taking people's plates in, running around, throwing footballs with them, giving them high fives. Like to me, I was like, man, that was really fulfilling yesterday. Also exhausting, but super fulfilling. So I know I'm rambling, but I think this is a valuable lesson. When you're talking about trying to live an uncommon life, is look at your wealth as layers and look at your dollars as investments and your time. And I think that what you're going to see is a very clear picture of something you get excited about, or a life you get to live and you get the opportunity to live it, or you get an opportunity to change things pretty quickly. All right. I've said enough. Thank you for listening. You've been listening to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. Until next time, go think of your life as an investment. And you are far more valuable here, pouring into other people to help them grow just a legacy of their own. Thanks for listening. Until next time.
That's all for this episode, brought to you by Uncommon Wealth Partners. Be sure to visit uncommonwealth.com to learn more about our services. Don't miss an episode as we introduce you to inspiring people who are actively pursuing an uncommon life.